music got me into coffee, I guess.
Okay, right.
And,
right, at the very least touring. Or
yeah,
like,
just touring, and
yeah.
like that became like, you know, I don't drink alcohol or anything, so that became like my vice, I guess.
Sure.
Like every day, you know, something to latch onto for some sort of normalcy on the road would be like, oh, okay, let me go find a good cup of coffee.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it.
And do those things continue to influence one another? I mean, is it important that you're caffeinated while you're writing? Important that you're caffeinated while you're playing? Stuff like that?
Well, anybody that gets like pretty heavy into coffee, which I'm probably the most into it, but even some of the other guys are pretty into it, it becomes like a part of your day. So I don't know if it's the caffeine. It probably has a lot to do with it.
Sure.
But there's just something about just having that cup of coffee. I don't know. It's almost like becomes its own little mini culture within your daily life. So. Yeah, it's an important thing.
What do you do? What are like your preferred methods, or what? I mean, are you like a French press guy? Do you do pour over? We have a Chemex at our office. I don't know what you think about that.
All of the above.
Okay.
So on tour, when I go out to a place, I usually will get like a soy latte.
Okay.
That's my jam. If I go to like a really good coffee shop, but if I'm just making coffee, I'll do espresso based drinks at home. I do a Chemex, do V60 pour overs, AeroPress, sometimes French press, although that's probably my least go-to option. Right now, Chemex is probably my number one method at home. I've been roasting coffee though for a few years, like at home and stuff like that. But then I just sort of delved into the commercial realm. And so yeah, I would buy like from these places, Counterculture, Stumptown, Intelligentsia, all the big ones.
Sure.
But then I was like, man, you know, I could probably do this, you know. And so I found some sites that sold like raw coffee beans, green coffee that were sourced from, you know, ethically sourced from really reputable farms and stuff like that. So I started buying small quantities of those and roasting them at home. And that's when I further kind of learned about coffee and how the different processing methods of coffee like played into how a coffee roasts and ultimately how it tastes. Mm-hmm. We currently don't have like a cafe. Mm-hmm. We just roast. So eventually that is a goal. We do want to be one of those places that musicians seek out. But right now we're still kind of in the early phase of the company, and we wanted to kind of start with roasting because we feel like that's sort of the beginning. You know?
With like the band and coffee connectivity, there are owls on the Parliament logo, and I know that the night owl is a theme throughout. I guess it's the Parallax, right? That series. So would you just talk about that, like the importance of using those? Do you just like owls, or did you want it to be connected to Between the Buried and Me?
I did kind of want it to have some sort of loose connection to Between the Buried and Me. I also like the name Parliament because most people aren't aware that a parliament is, when they think of Parliament, they think of like the English Parliament, British Parliament. But a parliament is actually a group of owls. Like, that's how it could be defined. Cool. So the band has kind of thematically, we owls were kind of a centerpiece of the last record, and then my wife's obsessed with owls, and I just thought it was a cool like imagery to use for a coffee company. So that's kind of how we went with that.
I guess I want to talk about like snobbery a little bit. Do you find yourself being judgmental? Do you have to like pull that back a little bit sometimes?
Yeah, because I don't want to be like that, you know. That's one of the, I guess, the put-offs of like the coffee world is that it can be a little snobbish.
Yeah, snobbish.
And I don't want to be like that. But when you develop like kind of a palate for what good coffee can taste like and what kind of not very good coffee is like, it's hard to not be a little bit snobby and taste something that's like, this is over roasted, or whatever. But I try not to do that because I think everybody's different and people like what they like.
Yeah,
our merch guy's super into coffee right now. I'm kidding. He's back there. He hates coffee. I took him.
You didn't drink it at all?
Funny story, man. This is it's funny to me. We just finished a European tour. We were in Copenhagen, Denmark, which is like a killer coffee city. Yeah, Scandinavia in general, they're very known for their light roasts. And so we went to this place called the Coffee Collective in Copenhagen. It's like a world-renowned coffee roastery.
Okay.
You know, it's killer coffee. I said, Jeff, because he said he likes tea. So I said, Jeff, let me buy you a coffee from this place. It's roasted really light. It has these super, super like floral qualities to it. It drinks like a tea. Maybe you'll like it. So we go to this place. I get him a pour over of a coffee from Panama from a farm called La Esmeralda. So this is like an expensive coffee, one of the best coffees in the world. They win like Cup of Excellence every year. Some of their coffee sells for like hundreds of dollars a pound. It's like good coffee. I buy Jeff this coffee. This guy labors over this pour over for 4 minutes or however long it takes. Jeff drinks it. Takes a big spoonful of sugar, is about to dump it in the thing. The guy says, "Oh, let it cool down a little bit. The flavors will really open up." And I don't know how censored I have to be, but Jeff's exact quote to this guy was, "All right, dude, I'm gonna trust you, but this is dog shit."
And there it is.
So Jeff tried probably one of the best coffees in the world
And referred to it as
and
dog
referred
shit.
to it as dog shit. So that happened.
If people
I was
don't
embarrassed.
already hate me enough as it is.
They
Now
really-
the whole coffee world.
No,
Well, hey.
you'll never make it as a barista, Jeff.
Great. Sick. You can keep that for yourself. Edit that out.
No. But
Beautiful.
point being, not everybody likes coffee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It
Coffee's
doesn't.
not my thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter how some coffees are. Doesn't matter how good it is. Some people just don't like coffee.
Yeah.
But like I
Sweet.
said, we're still in the early phases. I mean, we're in a lot of ways we're still just kind of honing our craft,
Yeah.
I suppose, and trying to connect in the industry with farmer. You know, we're trying to get more involved in direct trade and stuff like that. So we're really trying to perfect what we do right now, and then see where it takes us. You know, grow to that next step.